Your take.
I would want to first and foremost start with the fact that, with all due respect to a friend and brother, the person of Ajirin Gilali, he was at the Buhari administration, he was part of it, and he was doing his job. And I think in the course of doing our jobs, we should not really be, I just want to believe that the professionalism should be observed. Having said that, we saw how the Buhari administration of 8 years had ended, and I think his guesses are as good as mine, and the guesses of whoever supporters are as good as mine. So the applause that we want to offer to the Buhari government or Ajirin Gilali should be their own choices. Having said that, it is equally very disturbing because now the President Tinubu has come out to let us understand that with the team he has put in place, a 45-man ministerial team outside boards and directors that has been appointed. In these 45-man ministerial teams, we have got people, a lot of persons with so many poked characters and qualities. Now, looking at the House of Representatives, just taking a flip back, we saw the House of Representatives inviting persons and trying to say they're going to read out the constitutional provisions for inviting anybody within the Nigerian space. We saw what transpired in the Ninth Senate, where the then Minister of Junior Minister of Labour, in the person of what's his name, when he came out, the son, when he shunned them and even brought them to ridicule. What happened? He came again, and in the course of all of this, when all of that was read out to him, at the end of the day, he was equally absorbed as an equally confirmed minister. He's a minister today. So when we look at the structure on ground, does it give hope to the Nigerian people? It's a far cry from what we want to do from a sincere viewpoint of analysis. It's a clear no. We have people whose lawyers are saying they did their NYSC in 2003, 2009. Some NYSC is coming out to tell us that they're still serving now. We have a lot of funny characters all embedded in the ministerial positions. And this is the kind of people we're going to be looking at to salvage the situation. Many ex-governors, how well did what is their track record? Is it grandstanding? Is that what we're expecting from the government of the day? Then what's the policy direction that we have removed subsidy, and after removing subsidies, that's the right time to start thinking about the palliative or measures to cushion the effects. We are here to talk about the minimum wage and all of that. So for me, like I would say, we are making newspaper reads. We are making colloquiums where people will gather and speeches are made. People are writing books and then doing inaugurations. But the lives of the average Nigerian is almost oblivion to the powers that be and to government. And whether we like it or yes, until something is done drastically so. One of the lines of Ajirin Gilali was the fact that at the time I saw the president appreciated the Nigerian people and the 5-man bench because they have equally emboldened the resolve of the Nigerian people and in our democracy. We forget what is making the democracy of these nations threatened. We forget so quickly that it is because the people believe that they have been completely shortchanged, completely cut off from the chain of programs. We are looking at a country like Gabon, where you have 2.5 million people. They are the 5th largest producing nation, that they should all be living well, but they have an employment level of 33%. You have hunger in the land, and you come out to tell people that, oh, there's a policy somewhere. They had judiciary. Before then, do not forget, before the protest, the coup took over, they had a judgment from court where the president, they told the president, you cannot go for a third term. And because the court said you cannot go for a third term, the president sacked all of them. He had his reasons. People applauded him. He was intelligent. He was the president. And we are pushing the Nigerian people to a point where I believe if policies are not put in place that reflects the yearnings of the Nigerian people, that reflects one that wants to sort out the problems of the Nigerian people, trust me, it's just a question of time. The Nigerian state may just be one of those other states, like all around are very self.
Okay, so the central piece of force in unity is equity. Now, in Nigeria, there are factors that predisposes a nation, because he's talking about unity. There are factors that predisposes a national unity. One is religion, economy, the economy, and then you talk about a political equality. All of this, well, what aspect of this is functioning in Nigeria, functioned in the last administration, functioning effectively now? Even in his coming into office, what aspect of this is working? Is it the judiciary? Can we begin to look at, the embarrassment that the judiciary has faced in just by the EFCC alone and still ongoing? What aspect of our nation is working? And then with this ruling, you're talking about a call for national unity. What's going to be the central piece of force for this unity if all of these indices are not at par right now?
I would like to take your mind back to 2015.
Okay.
2015, Sarah and a host of others took the president, and I think the Federal Character Commission took the president of the then president, President Muhammadu Buhari, to court on grounds of what? They took him to court on grounds of the fact that he was being tribalistic, or he was nepotistic in his appointments and stuff. What were the excuses of the government at the time, or the ruling party? The excuses were very clear. They said the president had been out of government for a long time. He works to work with people he trusts, and he's got to get results. So he hit the ground running by taking the headquarters of the military base to Maiduguri, as it were. But what was the outcome at the end of the day? All our guesses are as good as mine. The truth remains what it is. We can continue to believe that whether we cast spells in the air, whether we build monuments, financial monuments in our storehouses, we build structures of puppets and all, there will always be a pharaoh that does not know Joseph. And when that day comes, I can bet all of us, if we continue on this trajectory, where the people are not, they're non-existent, they are not important. All that matters is what the bourgeois desires, what the bourgeois think of. All that counts is how they feel and how comfortable they can get. We began to see how easily the old politicians are beginning to recycle their families, the ones that have interest in politics, into the system, and they all come into the system. And we do not see a need where policies that should better the Nigerian political class and the political system be enacted. I have stressed and I keep stressing. You cannot tell me you are a minister. You cannot tell me you are a governor. You cannot tell me you are a commissioner. You are a PAMSEC. You love these offices, the humongous funds that have been allocated to these offices. But your wards and your families, they all take their medical treatments abroad. They all school abroad. So when they finish schooling in a place where there will not be strikes, where it's an organized system, with the ones that have interest in politics will now come back and sit down as our leaders. And you feel it is just normal. The people will always remain docile and never speak up. Right. When you look at a system where a particular region is completely cut off over and over again, we have 45 ministers. Eastern Nigeria has 5 states already disenfranchised by the equation already on ground, and yet we still have 5 ministers from that place, and there are still people who applaud the government from that same region for one reason or the other. It's a situation where we are looking ourselves in the face and telling ourselves it's all about a own man for himself. We are struggling for our stomach. And if these directions are not redirected, I bet to say that it is not a doomsaying, it is not a prophecy, it is just a mathematical calculation, like the prof will say. We'll always get there.